Merida, Legolas, Robin Hood. Now, if any of these names sound familiar to you, congratulations! You're a nerd! Now, don't worry, being a nerd is pretty cool. I should know I am one. But what do all these characters have in common? All of these characters were archers. Now, they were not wimpy little sticks and bones. These men and women were very strong, muscular people that were very, very intimidating, that made up one of the greatest divisions in military history ever created. They did not always exist, actually, and their influence ranged from culture to culture and also just technological influences. And that is what my speech is about today. Now, today you might be looking at me going, why is she talking about this? She seems very young. Well, I come from a family of history buffs. We cannot go one dinner without talking about something history. And I myself have been studying history ever since I was a young kid, both in and out of school. And I feel very comfortable in this subject, and I hope you feel comfortable with me talking about this subject. So today, we are going to cover what an archer is, archery in ancient times, and also archery in medieval to modern times. So, let's get this started with what an archer is. Now, according to dictionary.com, the definition of an archer is someone who shoots a bow and arrow. A bowman. Duh. I want to go into a little more specifics with these guys, because they were not people you wanted to meet in a dark alley behind a bar when they were angry at you. Now, to put it one way, Genghis Khan believed that giving a kid 6 or 7 years old a bow and arrow at that age was the best way to teach them how to be a warrior, by teaching them how to hunt. And by the time that archers were an adult, their muscles and their backs were actually deformed. They were that strong. To put it one way, English longbowmen had to have a draw weight of 180 pounds, which is like having a 180-pound dog at your shoulder level, tugging against a rope, but you're pulling on one hand and pushing the dog against the other. They were very, very strong men. So they were just amazing at what they did. And if you look at the ancients, now archery wasn't as significant in ancient times, actually. Ancient honor was more focused on hand-to-hand combat. It was called hubris, especially in death. Now, if you look at the ancient Greece, the best example of this is Paris. He was a whip, and he basically caused the entirety of the Trojan War, and he didn't do much about it, actually. But on the other hand, you have Odysseus, who wins Penelope, his wife's hand, back through an archery competition. It's very conflicting. And the ancient Greeks also had a very skewed idea of archery, in my opinion, because of the Amazons, which were a society of warrior women who were fabulous bowmen and also horseback riders that were basically a pain in their behind. Now, yes, they were mythological, but I also believe there's some truth to them because we wouldn't have them in history if they were true in a way. And if you look at the Romans, within a few hundred years, the Romans actually had these giant legions, right? But they also had little archery legions. They were so insignificant that I actually didn't know about them, and I actually had to ask a teacher about them because I had no idea they actually existed. Now, if you were to skip ahead a few thousand years to the year 1066, Battle of Hastings, when William the Conqueror completely obliterated King Harold II's army with a barrage of arrows, because he got the brilliant idea that, hey, having my men not get anywhere near that guy's men and not dying is amazing. It's a brilliant idea. I mean, I can go off and conquer more people that way. So, you had William the Conqueror, and then in the 1200s, you had the Mongols, who completely conquered Europe and Asia, thanks to their amazing bowmen, who also doubled as our horseback riders, that could hit a moving target 100 yards away, while the horse is running at full speed. They were amazing archers. Now, you also have the battles of Crécy and Agincourt, in which the French were completely obliterated by the heavily outnumbered English, thanks to their amazing archers. Now, if you go up to modern times, archery is not so significant, especially in military history. I mean, we're not going to send a guy with a bow and arrow out to shoot some people with bow and arrows, because that's just illogical. We have gunpowder and drones and all of these things that completely obliterate the significance of archery in military history. And archery is seen as more of a sport. I mean, you have it in the Olympics, and I'm sure you all know plenty of bow hunters because it's much more of a sport. But archery did not end in history until World War II, because a man by the name of Lieutenant Colonel Mad Jack Churchill, look him up, he's actually a real person, had the only confirmed kill with a bow and arrow in World War II. He actually charged Normandy Beach with a bow and arrow. It wasn't at that battle, but still. Why, I don't know, but he was a little insane, to put it one way. But anyway, I could go on and on and on about this subject. I haven't even talked about Native American cultures, the Chinese, the African tribes, the Egyptians, and I haven't even talked about the crossbow, which is an amazing feat of military genius as well. But that's much too long to put in a 6-minute presentation. So today, we have learned about archery, what an archer is, archery in ancient times, and also archery in medieval to modern times, and its influences in both military, thanks to military and technological developments. Now, before I head off, I'm going to lead you all with your own little fact to knock your socks off. By the way, a knock is the process of, it's where you attach your arrow to your string on your bow. Anyway, Australia is the only continent, to not develop their own form of archery. There's your fun fact for the day. Have a nice night, guys.